TKO Boxing with Sherry Abassi. Today I'm joined by Mr. Matt Floyd, all the way from Perth, Australia. Matt, I know it's quite early in the morning for me, so I'm just still trying to wake up a bit. Just want to say a massive thank you for giving me a bit of your time today. How are you getting on at the moment?
Good, brother. Good, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. I know you said you're parked outside the gym, so obviously you're on the way for a training session today yourself. Matt, the whole basis of our conversation initially and how we got to this point was all about obviously things that we've seen online regarding your name and your situation. Obviously, for the people that don't know, do you want to give us a bit of an insight into your backstory and how you got involved in boxing as well?
Well, man, for me, fuck, I don't know where to start. Where do you want me to start?
Well, okay, let's start with your sort of upbringing and what happened and what led to you getting involved in sort of boxing and stuff.
So as a kid, I grew up. I lived with my mum, and then when I couldn't live with her, she was pretty sick and that. I'd stay with other people, other families, foster care. And some families were good, obviously. Some were bad. I had a bad run probably between the ages of 10 and 12. Well, most of my childhood was pretty fucking weird. But obviously the worst part of it was between the ages of 10 and 12. When I was 10, it's interesting. I always call them the pedophile family. Someone reporter brought it up last night. He when I say pedophile family, people must assume fucking, there's fucking brothers, sisters, ten, but it wasn't the case. It was just an old guy. He was about 50, and the woman was probably around 21, Angela. And so there was just parents. They also had a daughter, like their own daughter. She was 2, and then there was obviously other like kids that lived at the house that weren't their children. Me, I was the oldest kid there, and yeah, after about 6 months, I ran away, and then a year later, they'd been done for the shit they were doing, and I had a lot of guilt. I felt like a coward for running away. Other things also happened afterwards. There was a bunch of stuff. Anyway, I felt like a coward, and then I created this person that wasn't scared of anything, wasn't scared of fucking everything that I was. I was a very scared little boy, scared of everything, scared of fucking thunder, scared of the dark, scared of ghosts. And then I just created this person overnight, pretty much. Went to high school, fucking not fearing anything, wanting to fight. Everyone fought everyone and anything. Was crazy, into gangs. I'd always end up leading them. I've always been a natural born leader. And yeah, it just evolved from that into the adult life where I was leading a gang. At first, I was doing it myself, where I dedicated my life a bit, like on the sides, to getting pedophiles, to grabbing them and kidnapping them and stuff. And then obviously, when I led the gang, the boys would help me do it as well, which ultimately ended me up put me in jail for probably a big chunk of my 20s.
You spent a lot of your, was it mid to late 20s? Did you say in jail?
I think I would have spent most of my 20s in prison. I probably only in all my 20s, I was probably only out for a couple of years.
Wow. Okay, and then in terms of what led you into boxing, did you learn to box in prison? Did you know beforehand? How did that all happen?
I was always fighting in school. I had older mates. They took me to a gym when I was like 16. They took me to a gym pretty much to get beat up, to learn a lesson. They did it out of love. And then I'm very stubborn, very them stories where you're a people take that cocky teenager to the gym to learn. That was me. That actually happened to me. That was a real life story. And I did fucking learn the hard way, and I went back the next day because that's how I am. I'm very stubborn. I was very strong-willed and stuff like that. So I went back every day, and probably thought, "Fuck, I got to get this guy back one day in my head," and that's where it all started. It was on and off for me because I was always getting in and out of trouble. Always wanted to fight. I would always enter like any competitions back then. Like if they had a competition at Joondalup Arena, any kickboxing or wrestling, anything, I would enter it. Eventually, I come across Angelo Hyder and Danny Green, and I owned this gym when I was leading the gang. Actually, I was taking adults off the street at this stage, not teenagers like I do today. And I was taking adults, trying to get ex-boxers off the ice, getting them fighting again, moved them into this beautiful gym. That's how I met Angelo Hyder and Danny Green. And then I sort of got passionate about boxing then with them, wanted to have a professional boxing fight with him. And then I went to prison for grabbing for the pedophile.
Okay, so yeah, so you've had some involvement in boxing before then as well. Then it wasn't just a thing once you came out.
Little bits, little bits. But the main training I did was when I was in prison for years. I was training relentlessly for hours and hours and hours every day, training other people. Then and then I ended up starting the first boxing program that's ever been in a prison, and it was at Casuarina, which is like the max jail over here. It's known as one of the biggest, baddest prisons over here. And I started a boxing program in a maximum jail, which is like a pretty unheard of thing. The boxing program actually stayed on for years after I even left. It's finished now again, but we had it going for years, and I was just boxing all day, every day. Would do things like would grab a bunch of boys and would all spar in like little 50 degree hot day rooms, like little square boxes, and we had like gloves that were, pretty much not gloves, like, they'd be ripped open after a day of using them, and we'll sparring like that, against big, heavy boys, and we'll just all, there could be 10 of us in one room all hitting each other at once, and yeah.
I mean, it just shows that you were able to turn something positive in prison, for example, with this whole boxing program, and with that sort of free time on your hands as well, rather than just getting involved in things you shouldn't be. At least you try to do something positive and productive. And I think boxing is one of those things. How many stories have we seen of people who've gone to jail and then come out and boxed or learned to box? They're like Bernard Hopkins, one of the greatest fighters of all time. He started in prison, so these stories can really take off like that. Obviously, your situation now at the moment, like you mentioned, you've recently signed to Tasman Fighters and Mick Francis. Of course, do you want to talk to me a little bit about your relationship with Mick and what that's done for your career so far?
I've done, because I'm so stubborn. I had a lot of help at the start with Tony and that. He's great. He's been a friend of mine for 15 years at the start, but then because of the way I am, I'm very stubborn and I like doing things my own way and things like that. I was astray for a bit. Obviously, I was on my own for the last, for the last bit of my career, doing everything on my own, going to other countries on my own. I haven't really had a trainer or a team or anything. I've done pretty much mostly on my own. I've been training my boys under me, the boys have taken off the street and turned them into fighters and that. But myself, I haven't had anything. I've done mostly on my own. I've mastered the bad habits of boxing, which is why I'm so awkward, which is why I beat everyone and why I'll beat everyone, because I've mastered how to be in awkwardness, from doing the same, boxing is just doing the same thing repetitively all the time. I've just repeatedly done a different style of boxing, my own style, and that's why I think I'll beat everyone. But yeah, yeah. Sorry, man. Someone said, and I got
No, that's
distracted.
right.
Now I forgot.
No, that's
What was the
no, that's
question?
all good. I was saying about, obviously you signed with Mick Francis and Tasman Fighters,
Sorry, we're talking about Mick. I get
yeah.
yeah. I've done a few. I've been up till like 5 in the morning because everyone in the UK is it's late over there to my time. So I've been up till 5 in the morning doing these over the
Yeah.
last couple of days. So I'm a bit I get yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Mick. So I was doing things. Yeah, I've been doing things on my own, and then that backfired because in Thailand I had a world title fight against Simran Cole and I won every round, and the whole world saw that I won every round, and they called it a loss. They've actually um, reversed the fight now to a no contest, which hasn't been taken off my box rec, but it's going to. But yeah, anyway, I've done things on my own, and I think Mick. I've come across Mick. I fought on a few Tasman shows, and he's met me, and I think he likes me. And I think he just feels sorry for me because the way I am, I'm very like how I am, and fucking, I think he has caught wind of it. He's heard about this fight, and I'm known to get fucked around a lot because of my ways. I'm just fucking. I can be highly intelligent, but then people will say I'm like the smartest, dumbest person you ever meet. So I make real
Yeah.
dumb fucking decisions. I try and do everything on my own anyway. So I think he's got involved, which has been a breath of fucking fresh air because this has been the biggest emotional roller coaster, this fight. And he got involved a few weeks ago, and yeah, and he's just taking care of everything from there, which has been fucking a breath of fresh air, man. Because now it's like, I know everything's solid, I know everything's happening. He's obviously, what do you call it? Diapatized. He knows all these people. He knows Fury's team, the manager, the trainer, the dad, the fucking man, all of them. He knows the guy who's running the show. So it's just easy now, and he's just told me to fucking relax. I've got the fight, just fucking chill the fuck out.
What was the actual backstory of how this potentially came together? I know you mentioned that you'd met some travelers out in Thailand. Could you talk a bit about that, please?
Yeah, I met a few boys in Thailand that were from England, and they know, like they all know each other, man. Like they were gypsies. We knew gypsies in England, like the high up ones. I don't know exactly how it works, but they all knew people that knew people, and there was this chatter and talk, and that's how it started. It's been for a while now. I've been going backwards and forwards with them. So, and then yeah, obviously Mick got involved, and it's been great, man. He's fucking, you know, talk to. He's talking them all for me now and sorting it all out.
Oh, fair play. Okay, so it's looking positive. In terms of sort
Very
of the
positive.
actual boxing aspect of this now, Matt, talk to me a bit about where your name came from, the Jedi. Why did you go for the Jedi? Obviously, everyone who knows about Star Wars and just pop culture, Jedi is an iconic term. Why Jedi?
Man, I'm an impulsive random think person, bro. On the day, it could have been something completely different, the complete opposite. I love Star Wars, man. It's not like my favorite show in the world. Like I like Marvel. I like all that stuff, man. I love all that stuff. I'm a geek at heart. I even love Harry Potter. I love
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff. I love gaming and everything. So, Star Wars people think, fuck, he must be a full Star Wars. I've got Star Wars, like my back's covered in Star Wars now, but I did that because of the name. It was just on the day, man. I needed to come up with a name. I couldn't use Matt Floyd for whatever reason. I had to put a little nickname in the middle. And the day before, I was doing an ice bath, and I could do ice baths for fucking 20, 30 minutes. And people were like, fuck, how do you fucking do that? Because I'll fill the whole bin up with ice and only put a tiny bit of water. I love the ice baths. And I'm like, I'm just a fucking Jedi, man. I was just talking shit on the
There you
day
go.
about being a fucking Jedi with the ice. And then that's where it came from. I was just like, yeah, just chuck the Jedi in there.
Fair play. So unique names. That's not one you'd hear very often. So it actually works. Quite like it. And then a bit about stylistically speaking, as a fighter, what do you see if potentially this fight with Tommy Fury does actually happen? What do you see the sort of weaknesses of Tommy Fury and things that you can potentially exploit?
Oh, every single boxer in the world has a weakness with me because you can ask like Mick Francis, like any of the boys, and like I've sparred against the best in the world, and when you watch me, they think, oh, it's gonna be like not that, not that tough, man, and they all say the same thing every time they get in the ring with me. They all say it's the toughest sparring they ever had. I'm. It doesn't matter. That his biggest weakness is just fighting me because I'm so awkward. I come forward relentlessly and I'm different, and people will never be able to work me out ever. Doesn't matter if they spar me fucking 100 times. They will never be able to work me out, and I can keep changing as well. I change all the time. I can adjust very easily. I'm just very smart. I can see everything. I've got great hand-eye coordination. I can work things out, and I'll change any way I have to. I already know how I'm going to fight him. I already know how I'm going to beat him. I think I'm going to finish him quite like earlier than what people think, but yeah.
Okay, and with Tommy Fury, of course, he gets a lot of stick. Obviously, he's got a big name, big profile in the UK. Obviously, being the younger brother of the ex-world heavyweight champion is also its own pressure as well. He hasn't really gone down the traditional professional boxing route. He did have some normal professional fights, and now he's gone more towards misfits and fighting, YouTubers like KSI and Jake Paul. What do you think of his performances against both of them? Because both, by hardcore boxing fans, both performances were considered, subpar. You got dropped against Jake Paul, and then against KSI, it seemed like it was just a hugfest. Did you
Nah,
watch any of those fights, and what do you think?
Yeah, Jake Paul's a far. People ask this question a lot, and I always say Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. I say Jake Paul's a far better boxer than what people give him
He
credit
is.
for. Any
Mm.
any above any average athlete or above say average athlete that you give millions of dollars to and say, here, I don't know how. I think Jake's been training for what 6 years or something now, right? Anyone that you give millions of dollars to and go, here, you got the best coach, you got the best this, you got the best that. All you do is train all day every day for the next 6 years, right? Anyone that's above average athlete or better is going to become a top 100, maybe a top 50 fighter, maybe even a top 10 fighter, maybe if they're very like a natural, just fucking gifted athlete. Um, and that's what he is, man. He's a top 100, probably top 50 fighter. And same as Tommy. Tommy beat him. Tommy is a top 100, top 50 fighter. They're both better than what people give him credit for. Jake definitely is, Jake, I don't even know. Like, he could probably do all right. Anyone, like, you put all that money into, like, the things I've had to do, you know, to train and things like that, mate. If I had that money and had people put anything into me, bro, I think I would have been a world champion at, 18, 19 years old with the way my head is. And I've always had, I'll call it more the muscular endurance, the strength. So that's what it is. I think Tommy's fucking good, man. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's shit. But I know I'll beat him. I think, you know.
Okay, and in terms of yourself, in terms of the sport of boxing, for example, what's your earliest memory of boxing?
I don't know, man. No one's ever asked me that. It's a good question.
In
My
terms
earliest
of
memory,
watching the sports, or maybe the first fighter you can recall seeing on TV and being like sort of interested in it.
probably Mike Tyson biting off Evander Holyfield's ear. To be fair.
Oh well, yeah.
I remember
That's an
being
iconic
actually. I
moment.
remember it. Actually, I really remember it. I was in the back of a car and I heard it on the radio. It was just on the radio, like in the morning on the way to school, and they were talking about it. And I was like, I remember this guy, the person that probably looked after me the best when I was a kid. His name was Max. I was living with him between the ages of, this must have been between the ages of like 6 and maybe 8 or 9. And I remember hearing it. He was dropping me off at school. I remember hearing it on the way on the radio, like a normal radio station, and it was just in the middle of songs. And I was talking about Mike Tyson biting off, and I remember asking him, I'm like, what's that? What happened? You know, he was telling me. But yeah, anyway. I've never been
But
asked
then,
that before. You just took me back somewhere, bro.
no, but this is the thing. Obviously, everyone's got a story of the first thing the first memory they have of boxing and how you sort of get interested in it. And in terms of like your personal sort of favorite fighters, who would you say your top 3 favorite fighters? Whether over history or now, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Canelo Alvarez. That's what I really want to fight one day at the end. 100%. I would love to. You know, anyway, Canelo Alvarez, Sugar Ray Robinson, and then probably Rocky Marciano.
So you got some historical figures there as well as the face of boxing at the moment. What is it about Canelo that you say you like? Outside the fact that he's the biggest name in the sport, what is it about him as a boxer that you like?
What is it that I like about him? A lot, man. You know, like I think he's one. You know, I don't think he's got the greatest athletic ability, so that makes him, you know, probably the greatest actual just boxer. Because I don't think he was born with like athletic ability that some other boys get. So yeah, I think he's just boxed really well to get to where, you know, what he's done. He's probably the best boxer in the world. You know, the losses he's had have been to people far bigger than him. So I think it's hard to argue that he's probably the most gifted boxer in the world, you know, and he's done that all on his own. I don't think was born with like, you know, he doesn't look like he was born. He's born with strength, obviously, but not like full, you know, the athletic ability that some boys get.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's so I think he's the best in the world, and that's why I want to fight him. I want to fight the best in the world.
Now, fair play. And in terms of obviously over in Australia at the moment, you know, Jaya Pataya, for example, you know, he's sort of tearing it up and he's really getting noticed across the world. He's, you know, the Ring Magazine champion, which is probably one of the highest honors you can get in the sport. But he's also the sort of heir apparent to Usyk after leaving cruiserweight. He's been, you know, you had Bradis and other fighters who are still there, but he's the young guy who's looking now to take over and really make a name for himself. I'm assuming, have you sparred Jaya Pataya, and what is your opinion on him?
I've sparred everyone else except for him. I've never come across him.
Okay.
I'm sure we will come across it definitely now with Mick and that. So yeah, I know boys. I've sparred plenty of boys that have sparred him. I always ask them about him and stuff. I've never met him, so I've met everyone else. I've sparred everyone else, and I've spoke about him. He's doing amazing. Obviously, I don't need to talk about how great, you know, he's doing, because he's a freak, man, isn't he? He's a fucking beast. And I've heard nothing but good things about him from all the boys that you know. I'm very close with all the boys that spar and train with them. I know Maxi's doing a lot of rounds with him. I've done heaps of rounds with Maxi. I have to fly these boys over to me, or I have to fly over there. Everything's very far here. It takes me like a 6-hour flight to see these people. So it's quicker for me to get to Indonesia or Thailand almost. So it's not, everything's fucking, that's how it is for me. I've got no sparring where I am in WA. So I've got to fly these boys over and spend, you know, 2 or 3 weeks with them. And yeah, usually I go over there and I've sparred a lot of his sparring partners, but never him. But I'm sure we will, you know. He's obviously a lot bigger than me. But I've sparred bigger, and I'd love to do rounds with him. Absolutely, you know, very curious to do rounds with him.
Yeah, like we said, he's probably the most like the biggest name at the moment from Australia in that sense, profile wise, and the backing of Riyadh season as well. So he's a favorite of Turki Al Sheikh. So he's in a very good position from a a profile and potentially financial point of view as well. He's going to do very well.
Well, it's horrible
Just
because he doesn't get any help from the Australian. Like even with me with this fight, we don't get any help. He obviously has earned it to get it a lot more than myself. So he doesn't get any help from the media in Australia. They just don't back the Australian boxers, bro. It's funny. Like I've had hundreds of people message me from the UK about this, and I haven't had one. I'm from Perth. I'm from Australia. I haven't had one Australian reporter like message me. And as far as they know, the fight's fucking ready to go. Like every single news person UK messaged me about it, and not one Australian has messaged me about it. Reporter. It's just how it is here, man. It's like people don't like seeing people do well, But once you are a world champion, then they might want to know,
then they want to
So,
know you, yeah.
but with Jai, man, unless your name's Zoo over here, it's crazy, man. I don't know. Jai doesn't get any publicity, bro. Like he should,
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's fucking horrible. Yeah, but I don't think I spoke to Mick about it the other day. Actually, I think they don't even bother, man. They don't even bother trying anymore. They don't even message him. They just fucking fuck him, But yeah,
That's crazy. You would imagine that a sport like boxing, which is such a historical sport, would get more coverage. It's crazy to hear that journalists there aren't really understanding that, because
what
especially
he's done,
now.
man, he should have. Sorry, what he's done, he should have over 1 million Australian followers. What Jai's done,
Yeah,
he
100%.
should, compared
Especially
to what
with
other athletes have done. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. I don't understand that, especially in a sport like
If he did
boxing.
that in UK, he probably would. What he's done, if he was from the UK, he'd probably have millions of followers.
He'd have more followers, yeah, absolutely. And I think he is quite well known here, all things considered. The fact that he's not actually from here, he's fought a few British opponents recently, so obviously his profile has been built, and because he's signed with Eddie Hearn, obviously British promoter, so it makes sense. Last question for you, Matt. Obviously, fingers crossed, you do get the Tommy Fury fight and things move forward from there. What is the long-term sort of plan for you in boxing? I know how old are you now? 35?
Yeah.
How long do you plan to box for, and what would be your aspirations moving forward if you do get the Tommy Fury fight as well?
I've got a few more years in me. And I've asked quite a few boxers at my weight, and some have said, like, Danny Green told me that he had his best time at 36. He was at his strongest, this and that, which keeps me going because my body's fine. It's great. I preserved my body because I was in prison all my 20s. So my body, I don't feel like I feel fine right now. People, I think about this obviously. I still, obviously, because of that, I still want to do as much as I can this next year because I don't know what I'm going to. Right now, I'm physically at the best still, but I don't know how long that's going to last. I feel like I've looked after my body. I should be fine. I should be able to keep going. I'm going to keep going, bro. If my body's fine at 45, 50, bro, I'll keep going, At 48, like Bernard Hopkins, I think he won the world, I will 100%. I'm not going to stop. So I want to go as long as I can. I started late, obviously, because of prison. I feel like I would have done a lot more by now if I wasn't, but there's no point in worrying about what could have been. That's why I'm trying to do something now. There's two reasons for the Tommy Fury fight. The number one reason, above my selfish reasons, is I want to show people like myself, show all the boys, show everyone that you can. You're mentioning Bernard Hopkins got out of prison and did this and that, but there aren't any other stories like that. Like I have to, when I have to fight for myself and that, I go to that story because it's pretty much it's not, there's not really any other Rocky Balboa stories. Millionaires always fight millionaires, famous people always fight famous people. Like we all know the movie Rocky Balboa. That never happens. You don't have anyone give that little guy over there for whatever reason. And if they did do that, like say with my case, he'd probably make just as much, maybe even more money if he actually if they actually fucking did it. But no one ever wants to. So the main reason for the Tommy Fury fights, I want to show all these boys because there's no point for a lot of them, like I can't tell them, this and that can happen if it can't. So I can show them now, I can show them. And then my second reasons, my selfish reasons after that is for myself, what I want to do it for is I know once I beat Tommy Fury, I'll be able to fight whoever I want. And then I can fight the best in the world. I'll be jumping the queue. Like if I didn't do it this way, I'd have to have another 10 or so fights, win them all. Fucking, I have to go down that road, to get there. This is jumping the queue for me. And then, obviously, like I said before, number one, it's showing the world, it's showing boys that you can, go through what I went through or go through whatever you're going through and go to prison or juvie or whatever, or come out and you can 100 different reasons. It might not even be boys that have been in juvie or jail. It might be boys that just had a hard fucking shitty life. They can do this. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to show them because I've been preaching this to them every day for 10 years, and now I'm showing it. So that's the main reason.
Amazing. So you've also been turning a lot of lives around in the community with the lads, like you said. So it's all being put to sort of a positive effect rather than a negative, which is what we want to see. And hopefully, you get continued success with your gym and the kids that are sort of signed up to it. I know, like you said, you've got a few champions there now that are sort of they're doing well. So fingers crossed that that'll continue, and hopefully we will get some sort of official announcement soon for the Tommy Fury fight. I know you're going to make that happen, and that can.
I'll
Like
be
you said,
fighting. I'll be fighting someone over there, bro. So
yeah,
if it all goes to shit, bro. I mean, I've had that many people. I'll be fighting. I'll be coming there to fight, bro, no matter what.
definitely. Fingers crossed. All right, Matt. Well, I'd like to say thank you for giving me a bit of your time today. I really appreciate that. I don't want to hold you up from your gym workout either.
Thanks,
And hopefully, once we know what's actually happening, I think we will get you back on again and we can discuss the opponent. If it isn't Tommy, we can discuss that and a few other things. And when you come to the UK, hopefully we can do something live, face
I
to
think
face.
Tommy Fury. I think he will fight, bro. He needs his fight. He won't say he needs his fight because he's Tommy Fury, but he fucking needs his fight. He needs to fight a fighter. He has to. I'm a fighter, and he's got no reason not. Like, he's got every reason. A few of his mates have messaged me saying they want to take this fight. You know what I mean? I've been hammering everyone, even his fucking barber, bro. Even his barber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to get the opportunity.
I've been talking to all of them, bro. I've messaged everyone, and they've all said they want him to take this fight. They want him to fight a proper fighter. You know what I mean? And I'm a proper fighter, man. He's got no reason not to fight me. This fight, he needs this fight just as much as I do.
All right, fingers crossed. You will get that fight then, Matt. Thank you for your time. And like I
Thank
said,
you,
hopefully we'll touch base as soon as we know what's happening with your next fight date. Then, yeah.
All right, man. Take care, brother.
All the best, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, man. See you, brother.